You feel it, don't you? That silent ache inside your chest, not pain, not rage, just emptiness. You're not broken, but something inside you is rotting. The fire's gone. The fight's gone. You scroll. You compare. You regret. You repeat. Your soul has become a battlefield, charred, scarred, silent, and now all that's left is ash. But beneath those ashes, there's a spark. Faint, but alive. It's not asking for healing. It's screaming for war. This video isn't here to inspire you. It's here to destroy who you've become. The weak version of you that sold his fire for comfort. This is not for men who want a motivational quote. This is for men who are ready to bleed, to rebuild, to burn away what's soft, and forge themselves in silence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength is buried beneath your excuses, your pain, your comfort. This is your reckoning, not a recovery, a resurrection. Stay until the end, and you'll never go back to who you were. Now stop scrolling. If your soul's been screaming through the silence. If you're tired of being chained to weakness, then comment this right now. I'm ready to burn what's weak and build what's real. This isn't entertainment, it's war, and every video on this channel is a weapon. We don't post motivation. We post reminders of who you were meant to become before comfort killed your edge. So if you're done running, if you're ready to rebuild from ash and discipline, subscribe now. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You're not joining a channel, you're entering an arena where only the disciplined survive, where silence speaks louder than pain. Click the bell, sharpen your mind. The next battle's coming. Don't face it unarmed. Look around you. This world is loud, distracted, addicted. Men scroll for hours, but can't sit with their own thoughts for 5 minutes. They chase dopamine, but lose discipline. They speak of purpose, while living in chains. You've been lied to. They told you to follow your passion. They told you to stay positive. They told you healing meant softness, that emotions are sacred, that self-control is toxic, and now what? You sit in silence, surrounded by comfort, but haunted by something deeper. Regret. Regret for not being the man you promised yourself you'd become. Regret for breaking when life hit hard. Regret for letting weakness speak louder than willpower. But listen closely. There's still time. Time to become something more, something unshakable. But it won't come through comfort. It won't come through shortcuts. And it won't come from anyone else. It starts with war, the war within. The Stoics knew this. They didn't preach happiness. They preached power, not over the world, but over yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke. You are not the chaos around you. You are what you choose to become despite it. But that power is buried under laziness, buried under heartbreak, buried under distraction, porn, fear, comfort, and fake strength. You want to rebuild? Then strip it all away, torch the lies, face the storm, and walk back into the world with silence in your heart and steel in your spine. This isn't self-help. This is self-confrontation. You're not here to feel better. You're here to become a weapon. Because deep down you know the truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to hand you discipline. No one's going to fix your pain. And no one's going to carry you through the darkness. That's your job. You either stay soft or you rise. So today, we uncover 10 brutal Stoic truths. Not the ones you see on coffee mugs, the ones that cut, the ones that rebuild, the ones that will reshape your soul. If you're man enough to endure them, each one is a blade, a mirror, a fire, and by the end you'll know exactly what must die inside you, so something stronger can be born. Let's begin. You talk too much, not just out loud, but in your mind, in your actions, in your reactions, in your desperate need to be heard. seen, validated. You think that expression makes you powerful, that venting brings clarity, that talking about your pain somehow heals it. It doesn't. Every word you speak without control is a leak in your armor. Every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't deserve it, you hand them a piece of your soul. Every rant, every outburst, every emotional monologue is a crack in your discipline. Stoicism doesn't teach you to be mute. It teaches you to be measured. Because the man who cannot control his tongue has already lost the war inside his mind. See, silence isn't emptiness, it's pressure, it's force contained like a coiled spring, like a sword still in its sheath. You feel powerful when you yell back, when you lash out, when you respond. But that's not power. That's weakness, disguised as courage. Power is when you could speak, but choose not to. When you could react, but hold your line, that's control. That's stoicism. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Zeno of Citium, one wrong word can destroy a friendship, burn a bridge, start a war, lose a job, ruin a reputation. But silence? Silence gives you space. Space to observe, to think, to plan. You are not obligated to explain your every emotion. You're not required to express every thought. You're not a slave to your impulses, and if you are, you're not free. The modern world worships noise. Social media wants your opinions. Entertainment wants your outrage. The internet wants you loud, reactive, emotional. But that noise is killing your edge. Every time you react instantly, you lose ground. Every time you talk more than you listen, you miss intel. Every time you overshare, you invite weakness, and you think talking is connection. But real connection is built in presence, in listening, in observing, in watching how a man moves, not just what he says. Learn to say nothing. Learn to sit with your thoughts and not speak them. Learn to hold your emotion like a stone in your hand without throwing it. That's the first step toward mental strength, toward inner dominance, toward becoming untouchable. Your words must cost you something, because if they're cheap, so are you. When you speak, people should lean in. Not because you're loud, but because you rarely speak at all. Because when you do, your words carry weight, and that weight, that's built in silence. You want respect? Stop broadcasting your emotions. You want power? Stop bleeding through your mouth. You want mystery, discipline, command? Learn the art of silence, not silence from weakness, not silence from fear, silence from strength, the kind that unnerves people, the kind that builds presence, the kind that forces others to guess. What is he thinking? What will he do? Why isn't he speaking? Because a man who is silent in chaos is a man who has already won. Powerful men don't show their cards. They don't overshare. They don't narrate their every move. They observe. They wait. They prepare. He who speaks more is heard less. Seneca. Think about your own life. How many times have you spoken out of pain, only to regret it? How many times did silence offer you a chance to win, but your ego couldn't let it go? Discipline your tongue and you will discipline your life. Silence isn't the absence of noise. It's the presence of power. A silent man walks into a room and shifts the air, not because he demands attention, but because he doesn't need it. The world today fears silence. It's uncomfortable. It's intimidating. And that's exactly why it works. You don't need to justify your standards. You don't need to explain your healing. You don't need to defend your decisions to people who haven't earned access to your inner world. Silence is your fortress, your filter, your weapon. Hold your ground. Speak less. Move with purpose. Because when you finally do speak, it will be with impact. And that's the kind of man the world remembers. Not the loudest, not the flashiest, the most disciplined, the most grounded, the most composed. The one who speaks when it matters and is silent when it counts. Be that man. There's a slave living inside you. He doesn't wear chains made of iron. He wears chains made of habit, fear, lust, regret, and weakness. You don't see him, but he moves you. You obey him every time you pick up your phone instead of facing your silence. Every time you run to comfort instead of standing in discipline. Every time you lose control because someone hurt your pride. He's not a metaphor, he's real, and he's in control of your life. The modern world feeds him. Algorithms feed him. Porn feeds him. Dopamine feeds him. Your unhealed wounds feed him every indulgence, every shortcut, every excuse. It all fattens the slave, and here's the worst part. He sounds like you. He whispers in your own voice. You deserve this. Just one more time. You've been working hard. This will help you relax. No one will know. And you listen. But deep down, you know he's lying. You feel it when you look in the mirror and don't recognize the man staring back. You feel it when you scroll for hours and still feel empty. You feel it when you chase pleasure and all it gives you is shame. You're not free. You're compliant. And Stoicism has no tolerance for that. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Read that again. Let it hit. Master of yourself. That means your anger doesn't control you. Your urges don't move you. Your pain doesn't define you. You do not flinch when life hits hard. You do not fold when discomfort shows up. You stand. You hold. You decide. But first, you must kill the slave, and that won't happen through comfort. It happens through war. You think you need healing. You think you need support. No. You need to fight, because that slave won't leave quietly. He'll scream. He'll bargain. He'll beg. And you must ignore him. Every time you resist a craving, he weakens. Every time you choose the hard path, he fades. Every time you suffer in silence, he dies a little more. But the second you indulge him, he regains control. This is why so many men stay stuck. They think they can negotiate with weakness. They think they can part-time discipline. They think they can be strong on Mondays and slaves by Friday. It doesn't work like that. The man you want to become can only be built in war. Daily war. Hourly war. Internal war. The slave inside you is emotional. He's impulsive. He wants what feels good now, no matter the cost later. But the man you're meant to be, he wants what's true, what's earned, what's eternal. And that man doesn't speak as much as he acts. He doesn't seek praise, he seeks progress. He doesn't chase highs. He chooses discipline again and again, even when no one's watching. Because freedom doesn't come from expression. It comes from control. Control over your impulses, your time, your energy, your thoughts, your tongue. The world won't reward you for this path. It will laugh at your silence, mock your restraint, tempt your every weakness. But you will know. You will walk differently, speak differently, think differently, because you will no longer be a man owned by his cravings. You will be a man forged in discipline. Kill the slave. Do it with action, with fasting, with silence, with cold, with pain, with rejection, with sweat, with solitude. Cut every leash. Cut the porn. Cut the drama. Cut the mindless scrolling. Cut the fast dopamine. Cut the people who don't live with purpose. Cut the noise. Cut the weakness, and replace it all with fire. Wake early. Train daily. Read deeply. Work with purpose. Love with presence. Endure with calm. The Stoics didn't preach softness. They preached steel. They didn't seek comfort. They sought clarity. You want a powerful life? Then you must become powerful within. No more negotiations. No more exceptions. No more compromises. Make it your mission. I will kill the slave inside me, and when he rises again, because he will, kill him again. Every day, every choice. Every thought is a battle, and you must win. Not once. Always. This is what Stoicism demands. This is what manhood demands. Not perfection, but war. Relentless, disciplined, silent war. You are not your past. You are not your pain. You are the commander of your mind, the keeper of your soul, the architect of your future. So act like it. Don't just read this. Don't just feel inspired. Stand up, walk to the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say, "It ends today. The slave dies now. I take back my power. I take back my mind. I take back my life." And then prove it. With your discipline, with your restraint, with your silence, with your refusal to live one more second as anything less than a free man. That's the path. That's the way. Now walk it. You say you want change, but your actions still bow to old habits. You say you're tired of being stuck, but you still sleep in. You still scroll mindlessly. You still break your promises to yourself. You want transformation, but you live like nothing needs to change, and that's the slave at work. He thrives in comfort, in chaos, in delay, in tomorrow. He'll convince you that one more day of weakness is fine, that you'll start next week, that you'll stop after this one last time. But there is no next week. There is no magical moment where discipline lands in your lap. There is only now, and the decision you make in it. Stoics lived in the now. They faced death daily. They embraced hardship like training. Marcus Aurelius didn't pray for ease. He prepared for storms. Because storms are coming, pain is coming, loss is coming, failure is coming. And if you don't kill the slave before, the world tests you. He will collapse when it matters most. That's why this is urgent. This isn't just about success. This is about survival. Mental, emotional, spiritual survival. Because life will not pity you. Life will not pause while you figure things out. You either rise or you rot, and rising starts here. Not with motivation, not with hype, with decision. A quiet, ruthless, soul-level decision to no longer tolerate weakness inside you. Start with your rituals. Guard your mornings. Master your nights. Replace addiction with action. Replace emotion with execution. Meditate, train, fast, read, breathe, think. Make your life boring, disciplined, sharp. And when your mind screams for pleasure, for comfort, for the easy way out, sit still. Let the scream pass, and move forward anyway. This is the training. This is how you kill the slave. Not in a single battle, but through 1,000 silent victories. Every time you say no to what corrupts you, you say yes to the man you were born to be. And he is not emotional. He is not needy. He is not reactive. He is grounded, stoic, focused. He walks through failure without flinching. He stands in pain without whining. He faces betrayal without losing his mission. He doesn't act from emotion. He acts from principle. And his strength terrifies the weak because the weak don't understand silence. They don't understand stillness. They don't understand power that doesn't need to perform. They crave attention. He commands respect. They seek validation. He seeks virtue. They follow feelings. He follows law, the inner law of discipline, duty, and self-mastery. You want to lead others? Master yourself. You want love that lasts? Kill the neediness. You want success that's real? Kill the laziness. You want to be feared and respected by life? Then become unmoved by its chaos. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming indestructible. And you build that by killing the slave again and again every single day until nothing inside you bows to weakness. No compromises. No excuses. No surrender. Only command. Only presence. Only power. The power of a man who's burned away everything fake, who's cut out every lie, who's faced every demon, and walked through the fire, a free man. Not because life gave him freedom, but because he took it. That's your mission now, and when the sun rises tomorrow, you don't start over. You continue. Because the man you're becoming doesn't hit reset. He doesn't crumble after a bad day. He doesn't disappear after failure. He adapts. He adjusts. He advances. You see, freedom isn't a finish line. It's a lifestyle. You don't achieve stoicism. You live it. You breathe it when you wake up at 5 a.m. You sweat it when you push through one more rep. You wear it when you say no to the thing that used to own you. You feel it when you walk into the world with your head high, knowing your discipline is unshakable. You don't need to shout. You don't need to post. You don't need to prove. You just live it, quiet, cold, focused, free. You are no longer the slave. You are the fire that burned him, and now you rise. You rise with discipline. You walk with silence. You live with purpose. And you never bow to weakness again, ever. You've been burned by betrayal, by heartbreak, by failure, by the weight of your own expectations crashing down. And now you sit in silence, surrounded by ash, ashes of who you used to be, ashes of dreams that didn't make it, ashes of a version of you that tried and didn't win. And part of you wants to lie there. Part of you wants to stay in the dark, to curl up in the soot and say, "This is who I am now, just broken, just bitter, just done." But you are not the ash. You are the fire that created it. You are the force that survived it. You are what remains after everything else was consumed. You don't need to escape your past. You need to confront it. Walk into it like a warrior. Drag your pain into the daylight and say, "This didn't break me, it built me." Because nothing forges a man like fire, and fire, when controlled, doesn't just destroy. It transforms. It hardens. It purifies. It reveals what's real. Every man you admire was forged in it. Not comfort, not praise. Fire. The fire of being abandoned. The fire of failing publicly. The fire of building something while everyone doubted them. The fire of sitting, alone night after night with only their thoughts, their regrets, and their will to keep going. You are walking through that fire now. But it's not here to end you. It's here to show you what you are. And here's what you need to understand. You don't become powerful in spite of your pain. You become powerful because of it. That wound you keep hiding. It's your weapon. That heartbreak that crushed you, so it's your awakening. That failure you can't stop replaying, it's your blueprint, but only if you stop being the ash and start acting like the fire. The fire doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't beg to be seen. It burns. It moves forward. It consumes everything weak, everything fake, everything that doesn't belong, until only what's real is left standing. So if you're in the middle of pain, don't run from it. Stand in it. Feel it. Use it. Because this world will tell you that healing is about escaping. But the Stoics knew better. Healing isn't escape. Healing is confrontation. It's standing in the inferno and choosing to rebuild. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius, that thing you're avoiding, that's your path. That pain you're numbing, that's your teacher. That moment that broke you, that's your initiation, not into misery, into manhood, into power, into clarity. You're not here to be coddled. You're here to be carved, and carving hurts. But what comes out on the other side, if you endure it, is unbreakable. Most men never get there. They quit in the middle. They drown in the smoke. They mistake the ashes for the end, but not you. Because now you know, you're not here to be ashes. You're here to be the fire. But being the fire means sacrifice. It means you burn away everything that no longer serves you. The old habits, the toxic friendships, the mindless distractions, the stories you tell yourself that justify staying soft. You don't get to keep those and still rise. You want rebirth? You want transformation? Then step into the flames. Let them take the version of you that needed approval. Let them burn away, the man who couldn't say no to temptation. Let them consume the identity that was built on fear, on validation, on survival. What's left? Steel, stillness, you, unmasked, undistracted, unshakable. This isn't self-help. This isn't self-love. This is self-destruction, followed by self-command. Most people fear the fire because they think it's the end, but the fire is never the end. It's the proving ground. The question is, what kind of man walks out of it? A man forged by pain becomes a man who cannot be broken by it. He carries his scars like armor. He remembers the betrayal, the failure, the nights alone, and he doesn't hide from it, he owns it. That's the Stoic mindset. Not numbness, not indifference. Power over what hurts you, what tempts you, what tries to define you. Because fire doesn't just kill weakness, it reveals strength. You want strength? Then stop running. Turn around, face the flames, and walk through them like you were born for it. Because you were. You were born to rebuild, to carry pain and not let it poison you, to be the man who holds his ground when everyone else crumbles. That doesn't come from books. That doesn't come from talking. That comes from enduring, from waking up one more time, from doing the work no one sees, from sacrificing what feels good for what builds greatness. It comes from dying 100 small deaths and coming back harder each time. Burn away the weakness. Burn away the emotional dependence. Burn away the fantasy that life is supposed to be easy. That's not the path. That's not Stoicism. The Stoics didn't run from the fire. They walked into it. They wrote about death. They meditated on suffering. They didn't fantasize about happiness. They built inner fortresses that could survive storms, losses, grief, exile, even death. They knew the fire wasn't the enemy. It was the test. And you, if you are to be anything at all, must pass that test not once, not twice, daily. Because the fire comes every day. And every day you decide, ash or flame. And once it's built, protect it. Because the fire is not permanent unless you feed it. Every day you feed it with discipline, with action, with silence, with refusal to go back, refusal to numb the pain, refusal to bow to the slave you already buried. He'll try to return. He always does. He'll show up in your cravings, in your laziness, in the voices that whisper, just this once. That's the ash trying to rise again. Don't let it. Burn it again, and again, and again. You don't just light the fire once. You keep it alive with consistency, with standards, with accountability. That means no more soft mornings, no more empty scrolling, no more wasted nights. It means waking up when your mind tells you to sleep. It means lifting when your body wants rest. It means being present when your emotions scream for escape. That's the fire life. That's the Stoic path. And it's not for everyone. It's not for men who want ease. It's not for men who want sympathy. It's not for men who want to be carried. It's for men who want to be carved. You want to lead? Then walk through hell without flinching. You want peace? Then build it inside chaos. You want clarity? Then earn it by standing in fire while everyone else runs. This path is brutal, but it's honest. It gives nothing to the lazy, but it gives everything to the man who refuses to stop, no matter what he loses along the way. Because what he gains is worth more than anything comfort could ever give. He gains conviction. He gains purpose. He gains silence, sharp as steel. He gains a version of himself he thought was lost, or maybe never even real, until he walked into the fire and forged it with his own hands. You are that man now. You've felt the heat. You've seen the ash. You've walked alone, bruised, haunted, angry, and still kept walking. That's what makes you different. Not talent. Not luck. Not genetics. Grit, stillness, fire. So don't stop now. Don't go back to ashes. Don't trade the pain for temporary peace. Stay in it. Burn what's weak. Build what's eternal. You are not the man who gives in. You are not the man who needs to be rescued. You are not the man who breaks in the fire. You are the fire, and the fire does not break. It consumes. It refines. It transforms. And when you walk through this world from now on, walk like the storm that survived every flame it ever faced. Shoulders up, eyes forward. No apology, no noise, only heat, only force, only a presence that says, without a word, I've burned, I've rebuilt, I've become. This is who you are now. This is the chapter where the old you died, and the new you emerged from ash and silence, built by pain, driven by discipline, and carved by fire. Never forget it, and never let it die. Ever. You are the flame. Burn forever. It doesn't knock, it doesn't shout, it doesn't force its way in, it whispers. It slides into your life like fog, unnoticed, quiet, deadly. It starts small. A snoozed alarm, a skipped workout, a little junk food, a little more scrolling, a little more sleep. No harm, right? Wrong. That's how comfort kills. Not with a blade, but with a blanket. Not by destruction, but by ease. Comfort doesn't challenge you. Comfort doesn't sharpen you. Comfort doesn't push you, it sedates you. It dulls you. It steals your edge and hands you softness in return. And that's what makes it dangerous. Because it doesn't feel like death. It feels like peace, but it's not peace, it's paralysis. Comfort convinces you that rest is a reward, even when you haven't earned it. It whispers lies. You're tired. You've done enough. You deserve this. But here's the truth. Comfort is the slow poison that kills men quietly. It tells you you're okay, while your ambition rots. It tells you you're healing, while your fire dies. It tells you to wait, while life passes you by. Look around. How many men once had fire, but now just scroll? How many once had purpose but now just exist? Men who once trained, now complain. Men who once fought, now retreat. Men who once stood tall, now sit all day, numb, distracted, medicated by convenience. That's not living. That's slow death in disguise. Comfort never shows up as the enemy. It shows up as a soft pillow, a quick snack, a little entertainment, a few more minutes of sleep, a few more clicks on your screen. And every day you say yes to it. You say no to your discipline, no to your mission, no to your higher self. It trades discomfort for decay, and it's clever. It doesn't challenge you head on. It offers you little deals. Discipline for dopamine, purpose for pleasure, conviction for convenience, and it always speaks in the language of weakness. Start tomorrow. You're too tired. Don't push too hard. You've earned a break. But greatness isn't built on breaks. It's built on brutality. The brutality of doing what must be done, even when you don't feel like it. You know why most men are soft? Because they chose it. They stopped chasing resistance. They stopped seeking out discomfort. They stopped doing the hard things and called it balance. But the Stoics didn't seek balance. They sought strength. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca, comfort magnifies imagined suffering. It tells you discomfort will kill you. But the opposite is true. Discomfort is your cure. You want clarity? Put down the phone and sit in silence. You want strength? Train when your body screams for rest. You want discipline? Say no when comfort offers you the easy way out. The way forward is not hidden. It's just hard, and most men are too soft to walk it. You want to be respected? Then stop looking for ease. Stop chasing relaxation. Stop living for pleasure. Respect is earned in resistance. Wake up early. Train heavy. Push through boredom. Sit in discomfort. Delay gratification. Conquer impulse. Not once. Daily. That's the Stoic way. Not motivation, not hype. Ritual. Standard. Edge. Every time you say yes to comfort, you dull your blade. Every time you run from the hard thing, you lose another piece of yourself. And before you know it, you're average. Not because you lacked talent, but because you lacked fire. The Stoics didn't glorify ease. They glorified effort. They fasted, not because they had to, but because they chose to. They embraced the cold. They practiced hardship. They didn't avoid discomfort. They chased it, because discomfort isn't suffering. It's preparation. You think you're preparing for your dream life, then why are you choosing softness every day? You think you're preparing to lead, to build, to conquer. Then why are you still in bed at 10 a.m.? Why are you still glued to a screen? Why are you still numbing your mind with empty dopamine because comfort won? And if you want to win, you have to kill it. Kill it with cold. Kill it with effort. Kill it with silence. Kill it with structure. Build your day like a battleground. Wake up on time. Move your body. Discipline your diet. Control your screen time. Do the hard thing first. Make discomfort your ritual, not your enemy. Because once it becomes routine, the chaos outside can't touch you. And comfort? It stops being seductive. You'll see it for what it really is. A lie. A sugar-coated trap meant to keep you weak, dependent, easily broken. Comfort will never give you greatness. Comfort will never give you strength. Comfort will never give you peace. Only discipline gives those things. Only sacrifice gives those things. Only struggle gives those things. You think peace is comfort? It's not. Peace is the reward of discipline. Peace is earned when you know you did everything you said you would. Peace is built when you walk through discomfort without blinking. You want to separate yourself? Then do what others avoid. Wake up early when they sleep in. Train hard when they rest. Read when they scroll. Fast when they binge. Work when they make excuses. The world is full of men dying slowly in soft lives. Don't be one of them. Be the outlier. The sharp one. The one who says, I will not be owned by comfort. Because comfort is not your friend. It's your seducer, your thief, your quiet executioner. It won't kill you today, but it will kill your purpose. Slowly. It will kill your focus. Silently. It will kill your legacy. Gently. Until you wake up one day. Too soft to change. Too tired to fight. Too numb to care. That's the real danger. Not failure. Not pain. Not rejection. But comfort. Because comfort is the only thing that can convince a man to abandon his greatness without even noticing it. So here's the truth. You don't need more pleasure. You don't need more convenience. You don't need more rest. You need more fire. You need the cold. You need the grind. You need the voice inside you that says, get up, go harder, stay sharp. Comfort is the silent killer. And every time you refuse it. Every time you choose discomfort instead, you take back your edge. You become less breakable. Less soft, less weak, more stoic, more you. So tomorrow morning when comfort calls, ignore it. When it offers ease, reject it. When it says, take a break, answer with, I'm building something, and keep going, because you are not here to be comfortable. You are here to be powerful. Live like it. You don't owe the world your time. You don't owe it your energy. You don't owe it your softness, your compliance, or your peace. Because the world doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't care about your promises. It only respects results. The world will take everything you give it and still ask for more. Your attention, your opinions, your performance, your soul. And if you live for it, you'll die by it. You'll become addicted to applause, dependent on validation, obsessed with how you look, and empty on the inside. So here's the truth. You owe the world nothing. Not your comfort, not your presence, not your emotional availability, not your dreams. You owe it nothing. But you owe yourself everything. You owe yourself the discipline you keep avoiding. You owe yourself the silence you keep filling with distraction. You owe yourself the life you promised when you still believed you could become something. The man in the mirror, he's watching you. Not the world, not your followers, not your critics, just him. And you've lied to him long enough. You said you'd change. You said you'd get serious. You said you'd take control, but you keep breaking those promises because deep down you still think you have time. You don't. Time doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care that you're going through something. It moves with or without you. And one day, maybe soon, You'll wake up and realize you gave more to strangers, to trends, to distractions than you ever gave to yourself. That's the betrayal. Not from the world, from you. You gave more to comfort than to your craft, more to scrolling than to your strength, more to fitting in than standing up, more to noise than to your own inner voice. That ends now, because the world doesn't owe you a damn thing either. Not understanding, not recognition, not forgiveness, not success. You must give it to yourself, or live without. If the Stoics knew this, they didn't wait for external validation. They didn't rely on approval. They built from the inside out. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Seneca. The world craves. The world wants more attention, more stimulation, more shortcuts. But the Stoic wants less distraction, less noise, less dependency, less weakness. He knows he owes himself control. He owes himself power. He owes himself results. Not for applause, but for alignment. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that will haunt you isn't what the world said. It's what you didn't do. It's the reps you skipped, the risks you avoided, the mornings you slept in, the years you coasted, the words you never said, the dreams you never built, all of it. Not because the world stopped you, but because you stopped yourself. You think you're waiting for the right moment? No. You're avoiding responsibility. You're avoiding the weight of being a man who owes everything to himself and makes no excuses. No one's coming to make sure you're okay. No one's going to save you. And the truth is, they shouldn't. You are your own responsibility. Your growth, your mindset, your focus, your progress. You owe it to yourself to show up, even when you're tired, even when you're heartbroken, even when you feel like nothing matters. You show up because you said you would. You train because your body is your weapon. You read because your mind is your fortress. You stay silent because your emotions don't get to run the show. You grind because your goals won't build themselves. That's how you reclaim your power, not by asking the world for it, by taking it from yourself and earning it back day by day, action by action, standard by standard. Stop asking, what do they think of me? Ask, what do I think of me? Would you follow the man you are today? Would you trust him? Would you respect him? Would you go to war with him? If the answer is no, then you know what you owe. You owe the work. You owe the silence. You owe the sacrifice. You owe the hard decisions no one claps for, but that build the only kind of pride that matters. Self-pride. This is where most men fail. They do just enough to look like they're trying. They talk just enough to sound committed. They move just enough to fool others. But deep down, they know they're betraying themselves. You've done it. We all have. But the difference between the weak and the rising is this. The weak justify it. The rising correct it. You don't need to explain your failures. You need to stop repeating them. The world may forget your laziness, but you won't. You will remember every day you quit, every excuse you made, every time you gave up when it got heavy, and it will burn in you like shame. But you can kill that shame, not by covering it up, but by replacing it with effort. Because once you stop living for the world, Ben, and start living for that man in the mirror, something changes. Your standards rise. Your excuses die. Your goals become non-negotiable because you no longer care how it looks. You care how it feels to keep the promises you made to yourself. That's real power. That's real pride. That's real freedom. Not needing applause. Not needing pity. Not needing anyone to carry you. Just you, doing the work, in silence, without skipping, without performing, without breaking. Every day you honor that man in the mirror, you get closer to who you were born to be. And every day you don't, you bury him further. So ask yourself right now, am I killing my potential or resurrecting it? Because the moment you choose yourself, fully, ruthlessly, without apology, you begin to shift. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop needing permission. You stop checking if anyone approves. You get up earlier. You train harder. You think clearer. You speak less. You move faster. You carry yourself like a man who's finally remembered, this is my life. No one else will live it. No one else will fix it. No one else will earn it. And from that moment forward, your standards stop fluctuating. You don't rise and fall with emotions. You don't need to be in the mood to act. You just do. And you do it because you owe it. You owe it to the boy you used to be, the one who dreamed of being strong. You owe it to the man you are now, the one who's tired of being average. And you owe it to the future you, the one who will either thank you or curse you. So make the choice, right now. No more breaks, no more begging, no more hiding, own it, everything. Starting now. This is your standard now. Live like it matters. She left. Maybe physically, maybe emotionally. Maybe she chose another man. Or maybe she just chose herself and left you with nothing but silence. And now you're stuck. Not in love. In limbo. You don't know whether to move on or wait. To let go or fight harder. To grieve or hope. But here's what you need to understand. You're losing yourself. Not because she's gone, but because you're going with her. Every day you replay what happened. Every night you imagine different outcomes. You stalk her, Paige. You reread old messages, you look for signs, you crave closure. But she's not coming back. And even if she does, it won't be for the man begging in the shadows. It'll be for the man who rebuilt. The man who turned heartbreak into hunger, silence into strength, loss into leadership. The man who didn't just heal, he evolved. But you can't evolve until you let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting her. It means remembering who you were before she arrived. And rebuilding the man you promised you'd become with or without her. You think holding on makes you strong. It's killing you. It's keeping you weak, emotional, distracted. It's making you reactive, not powerful. It's making you needy, not stoic. The Stoics lost love, lost family, lost everything, but they never lost themselves. Because they didn't attach their identity to an emotion. They grieved, but didn't drown. They remembered but didn't regress. They hurt, but never broke their code. And you? You're not breaking. You're leaking. You're leaking power every time you check her page. Every time you imagine her with someone else. Every time you wish things were different. She's not the enemy. But she's not your savior either. She was a chapter, not the whole book. And you're trying to reread a page that's already on fire. Let it burn. Let her go. Let go of the illusion. The idea that she completed you. The belief that you need her to feel whole, you don't. You were a man before her. And you'll be 10 times the man after. If you stop orbiting her memory. This is where boys get stuck, and men rise. Letting go isn't weakness, it's recognition. Recognition that you can't build the next version of you with pieces of the past still in your hands. You want to know what's worse than heartbreak? Self-abandonment. You gave up your workouts. You stopped building. You stopped showing up. You traded your purpose for pain, and now you call it love. But love doesn't cripple you. Love doesn't make you lose yourself. Love doesn't require you to bleed endlessly for someone who's not even watching anymore. You're not hurting because you loved her. You're hurting because you forgot you, and it's time to come back. You want closure? Here it is. She's gone. She chose her path. Now it's time to choose yours, not with hate, not with revenge, with clarity. You owe her nothing, but you owe you everything. You owe yourself the body you promised to build, the business you wanted to launch, the books you were going to read, the discipline you were going to enforce, the silence you are going to master. You don't need her back. You need you back. Letting her go doesn't mean you're cold. It means you're in command. It means your days are no longer dictated by what she's doing or who she's with. It means your mission matters more than your memories. It means you're focused on the man in the mirror, not the one who broke down when she walked away. You don't need closure. You need a code, you don't need validation, you need violence in your daily discipline, controlled rage, focused ambition, relentless silence. Because the truth is, no one's coming to fix this. There's no final conversation, no magic message, no apology that will make it all go away. Only you. And the decision you make right now. Do I keep waiting for her to return, or do I rebuild so brutally that if she ever looks back, she doesn't recognize the man I've become? Not to impress, her to become him. That version of you is not obsessed with who left. He's obsessed with what's next. He wakes up early. He trains while others sleep. He works in silence. He builds in darkness. He doesn't post. He doesn't explain. He doesn't chase. He creates. Because that's what a man does when he's done begging to be seen. He becomes so dangerous. He can't be ignored. Let her go. She was never the destination. She was a detour. And now you're back on course. You lost time? Make up for it and focus. You lost peace? Build it in solitude. You lost love? Replace it with power, because heartbreak is not the end. It's the opportunity to start over, without the weakness you had when she found you. Let her go. Let go of the photos, the playlist, the maybe one day, the idea that she was the only one who'd ever love you. You don't need another woman to feel whole. You need to honor the man you keep promising to become, the one with standards, with fire, with command, with restraint, with cold logic, with quiet power. That man isn't begging. He's forging every day, every rep, every book, every habit, every early morning, every skipped shortcut, every time he chooses himself instead of the pain. That's when he comes back. That's when you come back. Not as the broken boy she walked away from, but as the unbreakable man who walked himself into greatness. And once you become him, you don't chase anyone. You don't crave closure. You don't worship people who left. You command your life. You move with calm, with conviction, with a standard that few can meet, and even fewer can keep. Not because you're bitter, but because you remembered your worth. You remembered what it means to love without losing yourself, to feel pain without losing your purpose, to endure loss without losing your edge. Let her go, not to forget her, but to remember you. The fire, the focus, the force you were born to be. And if she ever looks back, let her see the version of you that no longer needs her, because you chose you. You stopped waiting. You stopped crying. You stopped explaining. You just became. This is your closure. This is your standard. This is your power. Let her go, or lose yourself forever. The choice is yours. Every man wants to be powerful until it's time to pay the price. Because power isn't free. It's not given. It's not gifted. It's earned through pain, not just once, not for a month, every day, for years. You want strength, discipline, presence, control? Then pain is the toll, and most men will never pay it. They'll talk about greatness. They'll post quotes. They'll get hyped for a week. But when pain knocks, they flinch. They run. They fold. But the Stoics never folded. They knew the truth. Pain is the gate, and only those who walk through it become kings. There's no shortcut, no bypass, no cheat code. You don't get the crown without the scars. You don't get clarity without the chaos. You don't get to lead without learning how to suffer. Because every strong man you admire was broken first, crushed by loss, shattered by failure, torn by betrayal, humbled by life. And instead of using that pain to justify weakness, they turned it into steel. Pain became their training ground, their forge, their compass. It didn't stop them. It sharpened them. Marcus Aurelius buried 8 of his children, led Rome through plague, war, betrayal. Epictetus was born a slave, beaten, crippled for life. He still said, "Difficulties show what men are. So what are you showing? That you fold when things get heavy? That you retreat at the first cut? That emotional pain is enough to make you quit? Then you don't want power. You want peace without earning it. And peace that isn't earned? It doesn't last. You say you want to be stoic? Then prepare to suffer. Without complaining. Without posting. Without begging for sympathy. Because pain isn't the enemy, it's the process. The test that separates boys from men, talkers from doers, pretenders from warriors. You can't fake it in pain. Pain exposes you. It strips you. It tears down every illusion and leaves only what's real. That's why most men avoid it. They build padded lives. They hide behind dopamine. They pretend discipline while living soft. But the truth? They're afraid of what happens when comfort dies. You're not here to escape pain. You're here to own it, to feel it, to carry it, to use it. Because pain has a purpose. It makes you bulletproof. Every burning rep, every cold morning you rise, every time you sit in silence while your demons scream, or when you don't flinch, that's power. You want a sharp mind? Train it in silence. You want a hard body? Forge it through pain. You want discipline? Bleed for it. You can't be soft and strong. You can't chase comfort and call yourself focused. You have to choose pain or peace. But if you choose peace before you've earned power, you'll lose both. This world is full of men who avoided pain and now live in regret. They avoided heartbreak, so they never loved again. They avoided failure, so they never risked again. They avoided rejection, so they never became undeniable. They avoided suffering, so they never became strong. Now they sit, scroll, numb, weak, resentful, but not you. You're not avoiding it. You're walking straight into it because greatness isn't found in ease. It's forged in the fire. Every man you respect, he paid in pain, sacrifice, silence, loneliness, isolation. And pain wasn't an obstacle. It was the path. So if you're hurting right now, good. That means you're on the right road. It means you're close. It means you finally stopped chasing a soft life for strong results. Pain is your mentor now, and it will teach you patience, restraint, focus, self-respect. And once you've suffered enough, you don't speak much. You don't need applause. You don't need approval. You don't explain yourself. You just move. He's not here to be liked. He's here to carry weight, because pain made him that way. Pain gave him discipline when motivation died. It gave him clarity when his mind was chaos. It gave him silence, because he had nothing left to say. That's what you're building now, so stop asking for peace. Start preparing for pressure. Because the man who avoids pain repeats cycles. The man who embraces it breaks them. Want out of the spiral? Then take the hit, and don't fall. Want out of the pit? Take the stairs. No elevator, no shortcuts, no saviors. Pain is the stairway, and every step hurts. But every step also builds something money can't buy. Presence. You walk into a room, and people feel it, not because you shout, but because you've walked through fire and didn't melt. Pain humbles you. It clears the fog. It reminds you what actually matters. Because when everything is stripped away, what's left? You. Can you stand there without distractions? Can you face yourself without a mask? Because the man who can, he's dangerous. He's earned something no one can take. Power built in silence. You want to be dangerous? Then bleed for it. Bleed in your training, in your fasting, in your solitude, in your choices. Bleed in the moments when no one is watching. That's where strength is born. Not in likes, not in praise, not in hype, but in the pain that no one sees. That's what forges legends. You'll want to quit. You'll question your path. You'll doubt your worth. Let that sharpen you. Every Stoic felt pain. Every warrior went through the alley. Every king was crowned in scars. So lead like one. Lead yourself first. Because if you don't suffer now, you'll suffer later in regret. And that's a hell no man wants to live in. You want to change your life? Change your relationship with pain. Stop treating it like punishment. Start treating it like preparation. Because pain is the price of strength, wisdom, presence, power. And every time you run from it, you run from your future. Every time you face it, you get closer to the man you swore you'd become, so stand up. Meet pain with stillness, with silence, with steel in your soul. You've suffered before, you've bled before. This time, you build with it. Because from now on, when pain knocks, you won't run. You'll open the door and say, "I've been waiting for you. Let's go." To work. There is no standing still. You're either getting sharper or getting softer, stronger or slower, clearer or more confused, focused or distracted, evolving or eroding. There's no pause button on life. No neutral gear, no coasting. If you're not climbing, you're sliding. If you're not building, you're breaking. If you're not growing, you're rotting. Most men don't realize this. They think if they're not failing, they're fine. If they're not falling apart, they're maintaining. But maintenance is a lie, because erosion doesn't show up as a crash. It shows up as comfort, delay, drift. It starts small. One skipped workout, one snoozed alarm, one more scroll, one less standard. Then, one day the mirror doesn't reflect the man you swore you'd become, and you realize you didn't get weak overnight. You decayed slowly. Erosion is silent, but deadly. It whispers, "It's fine. It's just today. You've earned it." But every time you choose that voice, you lose a piece of yourself. That's erosion. And erosion doesn't care about your goals. Only your habits. You don't have to be lazy to erode, you just have to settle. One excuse at a time. That's how empires fall. That's how warriors rot. That's how discipline dies. But evolution is violent. It's intentional. It's painful. It demands sacrifice. Evolution doesn't come from comfort. It comes from choosing the hard thing every single day. It asks you to show up when no one cares, to act without applause, to train without hype, to suffer without recognition. That's the real war, not against others, against erosion. Every choice you make is a vote, for evolution or erosion. Every rep, every decision, every skipped shortcut. Every hard truth you face. You don't need to be perfect, but you better be honest. Are your decisions building you, or breaking you? Most men choose erosion because it's easier to explain. They call it balance. They call it healing. They say, "I just need time." But time is a liar if you're not using it to sharpen. You're either using time or wasting it. Erosion is passive. Evolution is intentional. You don't evolve by accident. You evolve by assaulting the old version of you. Every day, you kill the boy who begged to be seen. You bury the man who needed validation. You erase the habits that gave you nothing but regret. And in their place, you build the man who doesn't flinch, the man who moves in silence, the man who doesn't skip, not because he's motivated, but because he's made a vow. Most won't do this. They want the reward, but they can't stomach the discipline. But you're different. You've felt erosion. You've seen what it does. You know what it's like to betray your own potential. And now, you're done. Now, you choose evolution. But evolution doesn't care what you say, only what you do when it's boring, when it's quiet, when it's painful, when no one's watching. That's when men are made. And the Stoics knew it. Marcus Aurelius didn't become great because life was smooth. He became great in chaos. He buried children, led an empire through war, betrayal, and plague. And still he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's evolution, when you stop resisting the fire and start using it to forge yourself. So ask yourself, are you evolving, or are you eroding? Are you moving with intention, or drifting with emotion because you're never staying still. You're always becoming something. The question is it a version you respect or a version you'll regret? Erosion happens in excuses, in compromises, in little lies you tell yourself to feel okay. But evolution happens in silence, in small wins, in moments when you say, not today, not anymore. Every skipped workout? Erosion. Every time you choose dopamine over discomfort? Erosion. Every time you break your own word? Erosion. But every early morning? Evolution. Every rep, when it hurts? Evolution. Every standard kept when no one's looking? Evolution. The direction is your choice, but the consequence is inevitable. No one will save you from decay, and no one will give you transformation. You have to take it. You want clarity? Eliminate confusion. You want discipline? Choose the pain you used to escape. You want to evolve? Then start acting like the man who already has. That's what evolution looks like. Not waiting, not hoping, not hyping, executing. It's not always fire. It's often routine, repetition, stillness, restraint. That's what separates the evolved from the eroded. One shows up, the other disappears. And day by day, only one builds something worth respecting. You've coasted before. You've faded before. You've seen what happens when you let go of your standard. That man, he's gone. Now, you evolve. Because this time it's not about proving anything. It's about becoming unrecognizable to who you were. That's what evolution gives you. You walk past mirrors and nod. You speak with weight because you've earned it. You walk in silence, but your presence says everything. You're not soft, you're not loud, you're locked in because you're done eroding, you're done drifting. From this moment forward, every decision builds something, or it breaks something. So choose one more scroll, or one more rep, one more excuse, or one more standard held, one more compromise, or one more brick laid in the foundation of the man you were born to be. This is the war. Not with others, with your past, with your delay, with your erosion. And this time, you win, because now you understand. You evolve daily, or you decay, quietly. And you're not here to fade. You're here to become dangerous. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be undeniable. You're not here to seek peace. You're here to earn presence. You're not here to drift. You're here to build a legacy. And that legacy starts with one decision: no more erosion. This is the new law. Not waiting, not explaining. Not hoping, executing, training, becoming. You've drawn the line. And from now on, every step is forward. Every action is exact. Every day is earned. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You're not reacting. You're becoming, because you're not a man stuck in place. You're a man becoming impossible to break. This is your evolution. Protect it with relentless execution. Now, this journey doesn't have a finish line. There's no arrival, no ultimate version, no moment where you finally get to relax and say, I've made it. Because the war never ends. And that's the point. You're not here to escape the fight. You're here to become forged by it. To build a life so sharp, so focused, so solid, it speaks without noise. Let them doubt you. Let them leave. Let them sleep in, scroll endlessly, chase comfort. You stay locked in. Because you understand now, every day is a test. Every moment is a rep. Every choice is a vote for who you become. There is no someday. There is only now. Now to act. Now to lead. Now to rise. This isn't motivation. This is initiation into manhood, into command, into legacy. You don't need a new life. You need a new standard, and the discipline to uphold it when no one's watching. So stand tall, be silent, be cold, be undeniable, and never forget, this life owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything.